Harley Davidson is certainly betting big on the Indian market. They've seen a good amount of success here and it all looks set to grow as they bring in more motorcycles and more variants here. Like the one we have on hand here is from the Dyna family and it's called the Fat Bob. Earlier this year, we sampled two motorcycles from Harley Davidson's Dyna family. Both the bikes presented two Harley stereotypes. The Super Glide was all chrome and the Street Bob with its custom treatment was all fiery and deathly. To me, both bikes felt a bit out of sync with our times. But now there is the Fat Bob. It's got the right mix of black, chrome and a flaming shade of orange to make it a massively appealing motorcycle. There are a select few changes to the Fat Bob to give it a more modern feel. For instance, the twin headlamps remind me of the first Triumph Speed Triple. The slotted disc rims look retro cool rather than just leftovers from another era. And Harley calls this exhaust a Tommy gun exhaust. And I think it's quite appropriate for this brute looking motorcycle. A distinctly modern touch is the digital readout for the revs that sits on the classic chrome instrument console on the tank. All in all, this squat, low motorcycle certainly looks the business. Now earlier this year, we'd sampled the siblings of the Fat Bob, the Street Bob and the Super Glide. Well, the way they looked, if somebody was riding down the street, I'd have said, wow, that looks cool. But I wouldn't want to be the guy on the bike. But that's not the case with the Fat Bob here. I think it's a very smart looking motorcycle and I definitely want to sling a leg over it and ride along. That's the real appeal of the motorcycle, and a strong point of the Dynas that I felt then was the engine. Let's see whether it retains those traits here. The Fat Bob uses a proper Harley-sized helping of displacement. The 1585cc V-twin lump has been borrowed from its Dyna siblings. This air-cooled twin-cam motor is absolutely loaded with torque. Open the throttle lightly and the Fat Bob surges forward accordingly. But dig a bit deeper and you'll find there's a thick layer of torque that will send the bike and rider barreling forward. Whether it's at a slow, steady cruise or a quick blast up your favorite road, the Fat Bob's pleasant, throaty rumble will keep you engrossed. Like the Dynas we drove earlier, the clutch has a light action, but the gear lever requires a strong shove to make the necessary changes. But the biggest disappointment is that Harley Davidson has chosen to bring the old 96 cubic inch motor to India instead of the newer 103 cubic inch motor that's on sale in international markets. Now even on the Fat Bob, you can't escape the charm of that Harley V-twin. It's got a very nice, soft, gentle, throaty rumble which is very, very addictive, and that was my favorite bit on the other two Dynas. And here it's all the more addictive because it doesn't have the extras of the exhaust and the intake. It feels very pure and neat in that sense. But of course, it's a very torquey motorcycle, easy to ride, but at the same time it retains the rough edges that we experienced on the Dynas earlier as well. Gearbox is really stiff and notchy, so working it does require some effort. But on a long ride, it's very, very enjoyable. But for motorcyclists, what will also matter is how it goes around corners and of course, how it handles our roads. Crossing the 100km mark is no problem at all on the Fat Bob. Maintaining the speed though is more difficult. No, it's not because of the engine. It's because the wind blast will make you work to just keep your hands and feet where they belong. The seating position is also better suited for the riders in the 6 feet range. Shorter riders will find the reach to the bars a bit tiring on longer rides. On the open highway, the suspension comes into its own, soaking up imperfections for a serene ride. But at lower speeds and over bumps, it does feel a bit rough. To slow things down, the front disc needs you to really haul on the levers as well. So, mechanically there isn't much to differentiate the Fat Bob from its other siblings in the Dyna family. And sadly, it has the same V-twin motor as well. Not that there's anything wrong with the motor, but it's just that in other markets, there is a bigger displacement motor on offer. Still, the Fat Bob now offers an appealing mix of traditional Harley design and a contemporary feel in the Dyna range. Harley has now launched the Fat Bob at a price which pegs it right in between the existing Dyna line.